What's up, everybody? How's it going? 1:45 a.m. Another ride into space. Kind of cleared up over here. I was waiting for a little while, and then I almost gave up. And then I took a little nap, came up to check, and yeah, looks like it cleared up just enough to get our last quarter moon. I've been wanting to do it because the stream the other night was super fun. I'd taken a break for a little while, but really enjoyed that. And then I realized that, I don't know, it's gonna be a later and later rising moon. So I figured, let me get one session in before the next cycle. I feel like I'll be able to do some December moon from crescent onwards, but we'll see. Saying what's up to the chat room. How's everyone tonight? Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. It's like Friday number 2 tonight. Feels like a long weekend. Glaucoma, what's happening? Arum Borax, Robert Gaia, and whoever else is hanging out. Appreciate it. Yeah, a little bit sleepy, a little tipsy, but having a good one rolling into the weekend, pretty strong. Again, last quarter moon looking excellent. Definitely some waviness due to the kind of combined effect of the humidity and the cold front moving through Florida right now. Let's chill, listen to some Electro vibes, and watch our moon, and we'll see some Earth shine. And I feel like it's getting a little bit clearer as it goes through. Some really good visibility around Mare Imbrium, Aristarchus, Copernicus, Kepler, and some of the nice crater formations along the Terminator. We got Gassendi, we got Tycho just coming into shadow. So it should be good. Let me know if you have any song requests or any comments. Maybe I'll talk about some Electric Universe stuff. I've been doing some research recently, just kind of catching up on all the different things, and it's kind of still so infuriating sometimes as to how misguided contemporary physics and astrophysics is. But yeah. This last one was H Alpha. Let's listen to Wrong Number from Space. Okay, so just, I guess I'll talk about the asteroid a little bit, where NASA is sending a craft to kind of reroute or to push an asteroid slightly out of orbit. I don't know too many of the details necessarily. I've just been kind of glancing at the stories, but I feel that in general there are a few preconceived notions of asteroids. One, that they are like solid rock, where there are ideas in the electric universe about porous rock, like much lighter weight rock than we imagine asteroids to be. There's another conception that, or I think misconception, is that giant asteroids hit Earth directly, almost, and I'm not sure that's really the case. I feel like there is some evidence for that, but there's also a lot more evidence that these rocks, these porous type asteroids, break up before they ever hit Earth. And then finally, there's kind of the science of landing or reaching an asteroid with a spacecraft that is just so incredible. And I mean, I think it's definitely possible, but it's talked about so vaguely, and we don't really know a lot of the details as to how all the math is done, at least publicly. I know that there are ways to figure that out, but in general, it's always presented as, we're just going to send this thing there and land on an asteroid or fire a rocket and readjust the trajectory of this asteroid. So I think it's hard to say one way or another as to whether that's possible or whether it's a good idea to do it, simply because I've just never seen it done before. But, so the idea of an asteroid hitting Earth, not so sure that's really maybe possible necessarily, but yeah, so those are some ideas. So if NASA ends up rerouting this asteroid, can amateur scientists test that or make sure that it worked? Is it being done because the agencies are worried that this asteroid is going to impact Earth? There are a lot of different variables. So those are some thoughts on it. I'm not exactly sure if I have a conclusion to come to, except for the fact that there is a lot of evidence about, within the electric universe, that the asteroid belt and these so-called rocks floating through space are much more porous and loosely and not as compact as we imagine them to be, and therefore they pulverize much more easily. And when they approach Earth, our magnetic fields and the density of electricity around Earth actually fragments these rocks pretty reliably and actually protects Earth naturally. So I feel like if there were these real threats of asteroids, that things would be hitting Earth far more often. And I know that, yes, some people could say that that happens a lot, but really we don't experience this kind of hailstorm of asteroid impacts on a regular basis. Does that mean it can't happen? No. But right now, it's interesting how certain asteroids or celestial objects are pinpointed in terms of what's put in the media. So I always have a suspicious eye and a cautious conclusion, which is not so sure about this one. But I feel like Earth definitely has a natural shield of protecting itself from asteroids, and messing with the trajectory of an asteroid is actually, who knows if that's a great idea or not, really. But we shall see. What's happening in cognition design? How you doing? What's up? I'm working late in the shop tonight. Rad. Jedi Princess, hey there, how are you? Welcome. I'm a little bit sleepy here, a little tipsy, but enjoying the night. And I figured, like I said a bit earlier, this is probably the last moon I'm going to stream of this cycle. It's going to be much later next time, and I think tomorrow's going to be cloudy. So I'm going to do this moon tonight, hang out with y'all for a little bit, and then hopefully start streaming again a little bit more regularly on our next moon cycle. I'll start off I haven't done a waxing crescent moon stream in so long, it feels. So I'd love to do that. Yeah, let's listen to some tunes. I definitely think about, asteroids impacting Earth differently than I used to, 10, 15 years ago, and I was always nervous about that. But I feel like Earth has withstood a lot, and if we end up getting hit, that's what happens, but I feel a lot safer because Earth has built-in mechanisms of protection. And maybe one of them is building, yielding a space station or a space agency that develops a satellite that reroutes an asteroid. Maybe that's Earth's way of protecting itself in a different way. So, don't have a great conclusion about it, but keep an eye on it. Our moon is looking lovely. Definitely has some chromatic aberration tonight due to the cold front, but when it does clear, every so often, it looks really, really incredible. Up at the top, that's Clavius, Tycho coming right into the Terminator, right at the top right. And then in the middle, we got Copernicus, Aristarchus, and Kepler, kind of creating that middle area of Mare Imbrium. The very bottom, the dark crater Cassendi. Really looking awesome. I'm going to try and do some zoom shots tonight as well. I'll be on for an hour or so. So hang in there. Let's, let me know if you want me to play a particular song here. Let's do something old. It's all a vibe tonight. prism dagger. And yeah, just a little bit about, I guess, the moon missions. This is one of these things where year after year, just waiting for these space agencies to return to the moon. And the discussions around it are so bewildering to me sometimes because there's so many excuses for not doing it versus an excitement for doing it that it always seems so fishy to me. Saying what's up to Jan, what's going on, and Sensei Camilo, how you doing? Welcome, whoever's hanging out. I know it's late, but like I said, I want to do another live show before this moon cycle ends, and what way to close it, but with a beautiful last quarter half moon over here. I'm hoping that it clears up a little bit more so we can get some zoom shots. But yeah, so 50 years ago, mankind, humans, bunch of men, were able to walk on the surface of the moon. And this is a massive, massive story that is very difficult to comprehend. And a lot of people completely disbelieve it. A lot of people truly, deeply believe it. Some people are skeptical. And I think it's a worthwhile discussion to have across the board, whether you believe it or not. I think for me, I used to be very staunchly in the camp that said, you know what, this is just, well, when I was a kid, I absolutely thought it was for real. And then in my 20s, I thought, oh, this can't be real. This is a total conspiracy. And then as I grew older, I started to realize there's actually a lot of truth in the Apollo missions, but there's a little bit of a lie in the Apollo missions. And that little bit of lie makes the whole thing seem really strange. And the little bit is that I think one of the biggest parts, even though it's very small, is the replicability of this feat. So America achieves this feat, for whatever reason, flexing against the Russians, in pursuit of science, whatever the reason we were supposed to go to the moon, it was achieved, or at least that's what the story is. And so if the story is that we went to the moon, and yet here we are 50 years later without a single country ever having replicated this technological feat, there's just no way to look at it and not say that seems odd. And it doesn't mean that the whole thing is a conspiracy. It just means that this irreplicability of the Apollo missions seems weird, seems strange. And that's just a personal take on it. And what I mean by strange is that it seems like technology happens on all parts of the world simultaneously in different places. This idea of panpsychism, the idea that information and skills emerge across the world and across the solar system and across bacteria, across the brain, across your cells, in different places simultaneously, not from one point outwards. And therefore, the fact that only one country and one organization was able to achieve this extraordinary feat, and yet no other country, person, organization has been able or has even attempted to replicate this feat is more strange than it is not. And so it becomes a question where I think it's a valid discussion as to whether or not these were political missions, whether or not mankind can just go to the moon regularly. It's very easy, and we don't do it for any number of reasons. or it's too difficult to replicate, and therefore what's the point of discussing going to Mars or anything like that. Let's see in the chat room. Remvorax says, scientific method comes into question. Repeating and observe. I mean, right? Going to the moon is an experiment that is irreplicable by anyone else. And not sending a rover or a robot or a satellite, but sending human beings to another planet, essentially. That's the most advanced achievement of all time. It's the most incredible, miraculous achievement of all time to send human beings to the moon and bring them back. It sets a new standard for achievements, period. And yet, again, cannot be done today by even the same agency that did it. They cannot do it again. And every mission seems to get planned and then delayed and or canceled. And so year after year, I've talked about it for the last 5 years, 6 years, but for 10, 15 years, I've thought this is so strange that all this talk of going to Mars, of sending all these robots throughout our solar system, and yet sending people to the moon was somehow feasible at one point and repeatable at one point, and now is essentially impossible. Or at least nobody wants to do it, which in and of itself also seems weird. So that's a thought or two about Apollo. I'm not one of those people that hopes it's a conspiracy. I mentioned it many times, but I hope it's a real thing, and I hope that we do walk on the moon for the first time, again, whatever that may be. I don't care if it was done for political reasons or even if it was a conspiracy, but it is kind of incredible that we live in a day and age where it's just not a repeatable event or repeatable technology. Like cell phones or cars or boats or airplanes are created around the world in every place. Technology is repeatable, or it's, science is repeatable, or it's not science. And so it's kind of crazy that this one event, this miraculous event, just doesn't follow these natural guidelines. Let me know what you think in the chat. Play a song here. Dark Room's coming up. I can feel like the wind. I can feel like the waves. I can feel.
Just tell me why. Oh, and I to be. Let's believe the wandering sign we sing. So let the lady bring. You will never know, will ever know. Oh, that's because you're open now. Open now. 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 That's because you're older now. Older now.
All right, I had to readjust the streaming software because that view got stuck for a second. So I think it's back, it's working again. Give me one moment, I'll answer your question. Just hit record on our moon here. What's going on, Richard and Lightning chasing bass fishing, Jeff? Lightning chasing bass fishing, Jeff. The moon is hollow. And Richard Garcia, what's going on? Yeah, so I don't know. I've heard the story about the moon ringing like a bell, and it is interesting. I definitely think that there's that planets, moons, asteroids, all things in this universe oscillate and resonate. So that seems definitely plausible and logical. I wonder if landing on the surface of the moon would create those types of ripples, and it makes sense if that's the case. So that's definitely possible. Whether or not, again, human beings landed on the moon in craft and heard it ring like a bell, or took those measurements in person, I don't know. But if you land a rover on the moon and get those and pick up those audible frequencies, then I guess it does make sense. The other question is, since Camilla is saying, do I think that when we went to the moon we encountered intelligent life or remnants of an ancient culture where the moon needed to be quarantined? So there are these stories about, there's a story about the moon and encountering aliens and them either scaring us, threatening us, warning us never to come back, or that humans encountered aliens and that they couldn't talk about it because whatever, mass panic, mass hysteria, or just government cover-up. That's a story. Let me reduce the reverb on me. I think I'm a little bit too verby. Is that possible? I think it's possible. Okay, is that better? That's a little better. Sweet. That's dry. Whatever. Yeah, so let me know if that sounds better. So yeah, it is romantic, it's seductive, this idea that mankind finally got to the moon and encountered aliens. So it's one of those seductive type stories that we hear that are like, wow, that's really adventurous and exciting. But I started to think that it's too hard to tell whether that's real or not. There are too many factors involved. One, the entire idea of alien life, extraterrestrials, like, are they advanced and how advanced? And does a culture or civilization that advanced stay in hiding forever? And then you get down the rabbit hole of ufology and alien extraterrestrial revelation, culture, interaction, sightings, so on, which is a whole other topic. I think it makes more sense to me that I think maybe the way I look at it is that's like one step too far in terms of what I question, because really just getting to the moon in the first place is the big thing. It's a lot like when I first started out, trying to not debunk, so to speak, but to talk about ideas like Nibiru a second sun, Planet 9, certain threats from outer space that seem very seductive. And I say seductive because it's the best word I've found for these types of poetic, exaggerated headlines. It's almost, maybe a different word for it would be clickbait, but I think seductive is more eloquent because you read these headlines about, you know, again, asteroid hitting Earth, and of course you don't want it to happen, but those combination of words actually trigger a certain level of chemical release, either serotonin, dopamine, whatever your bag of chemicals in the brain, you get triggered by a certain combination of words and poetic ad hoc ideas. So anyway, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin running into aliens on the moon seems like the most seductive story, most clickbaity story. So for me, I'm always suspicious of that particular narrative. Yo, 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 what's up, NGC? How you doing? Welcome. I see some comments in here. So did they encounter aliens? I don't know. I mean, maybe, but that's the way I look at it is more with a little bit of suspicion because it's the most outlandish story. And stories like that typically don't play out to be true. It's something a little bit more mundane that usually is the truth. Yeah, so the moon, to me, you know, has always looked like an object underwater. And I think obviously a lot of that's from looking at the moon through the atmosphere, through actual water. But when you look at it, you kind of get the sense that they could have barnacles growing on it and moss, and it's like an ancient ocean remnant. And so the idea of a porous or hollow moon, maybe not hollow the way we envision these stories from, you know, conspiracy videos or the media or movies, where you see this kind of like eggshell type structure. Maybe the moon is more hollow in the sense that throughout the moon, it's actually quite porous and there are big pockets that have been excavated or burnt through via electrical interaction. So maybe the moon kind of floats in space, or at least is more lightweight than Earth because of its construct. Let's see. Lightning chasing bass fishing. Jeff says, the first time they dropped something on the moon, it rang for an hour, but the second time I believe they blew something up and it rang for days or something. So the only time I think I think it might have been a couple of times, but they did apparently nuke the moon or fire a nuclear rocket into the moon, into one of the southern poles, to check for the reaction of the ice at the bottom of these volcanic structures, these craters. And again, I mean, this idea of even the words ringing like a bell is in a way kind of a clickbait type title. You know, I think a more scientific title is that the moon vibrates at this frequency for an extended period of time. It's a little bit more mundane. So I wonder about all these interactions with the moon that are just, they kind of exist in a vacuum, no pun intended, where somehow NASA is able to do these incredible things, like crash a satellite into a particular crater on the moon, but yet we can't replicate this achievement of walking on the moon again. I'm kind of stuck on that because apparently the technology that we used to get to the moon was so primitive compared to what we have today, and therefore it makes so much sense that we'd be able to do it easily today, and yet it seems still so far out of reach. Does the moon ring like a bell? Again, to go back to that, yeah, it probably does. I bet you Earth's Schumann resonance, if measured in a certain way, would probably you could probably describe it in a similar way. And I would imagine that other planets also have a certain frequency, intrinsic frequency resonance to them, where you could also say that they ring like a tuning fork or a bell. Yeah, what's happening, Curtis? Welcome. Thank you. I'm only sharing the view. The view is definitely handled mostly by this gorgeous moon we have, our last quarter of November. Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. Thanks for hanging out with me so late. Let's jam some tunes here. Gonna get myself a drink. Astralis, I see you there. Sorry, looking at the screen from a distance. Welcome, welcome everybody. Thank you. Let's see if there are any other comments that I missed. Sensei says, I think I'm to the point where I'm tired of being seduced by exactly what you speak of, seduction. I'm finding new ideas as I get older. However, every now and then, I still find myself pondering. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that sentiment. I mean, because I find the fact that if you just talk about space, or let's say the moon particularly, with enthusiasm and wonder, you don't really need clickbait or seductive headlines to get me excited about the moon. For me, if I heard somebody from NASA or even on a stupid news network, a representative who took the moon seriously and spoke about crater names and spoke about our history of the moon and didn't, pretend, one, that people were entirely stupid, and two, that we already have an understanding of our moon. If you listen to contemporary people talk about the moon, they talk about it as if they have no concept of what it really looks like, what the structures are on it, what we've done on it. It's always very anecdotal, very vague. And even the people who are working on the Artemis mission, even the NASA people, sound like they never really sat with a telescope, with a lunar map, with some old references of the moon, and really spent time on it. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but it just, to me, it always strikes me as the so-called professionals have never done any real astronomy. And when I say real, I mean 100 sessions, 50 sessions with the moon, with Jupiter, with Mars, with space, understanding how scopes work, understanding what it looks like. I think all of y'all who've hung out with me on these streams know far more about the moon than some of the people who work on the moon missions, which is crazy, right? I feel like at a job you should know about the subject matter. You shouldn't just be versed in narrating anecdotal references about subject matter. Yo, 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 Cosmic Surfer. Good to see you, my bro. Been a while. Yeah, life has been a bit of a roller coaster. I mentioned it on my last show, but I've kind of turned into a bit of a caretaker for my mother, who is a little bit ill. She's getting older, getting dementia, has Parkinson's, and now lives in Florida. And so my life has changed quite a bit in terms of my time. But yeah, things have settled a little bit, gotten used to her being down here. And so I came back to roost in the house of the rising moon for a few nights with y'all. I hope everything is going well with you and your business, and hope you're still taking some pictures of the moon or just watching it, experiencing it. I appreciate everybody hanging out again. It's always so great to be able to just go live at any point and y'all just stick with it. And it's tough for me to maintain a YouTube presence and personality because it's like, it is so much work, and it's work that I love, but it is so much work. It takes so much time. So bear with me through these years as I go through it, but I do love this stuff, and I've made a lot of videos. I know y'all have seen many of them, but if you're new and or haven't seen them, the last 100 or so videos, I talk at length about a lot of topics. I kind of was going through them in the past few days. There are some really pretty, I want to say really good shows. There are some really good shows. Some I'm more articulate in than others, but really there are so many huge concepts like consciousness outside the body, the shapes of craters being electrically formed, the ideas behind light, behind birth, death, our relationship to space. So definitely dig back into some of the shows if I'm not on a night. And I appreciate everybody who's left me a kind comment. Again, I know that I haven't been so good at responding to everybody. Hey, thanks, Kaz. Yeah, she, and my dad passed many years ago, so it's just my mom at this point, and yeah, I'm the only family really close by. So yeah, I'm gonna take a little break here, getting a little bit of dry mouth. Gonna get myself a drink, play a tune, and I'll be right back. What should I play? Let's play some Operator.
it's good to breathe. I can feel your fire tearing up the street. You feel like the freedom to my dream. We still breathe 'cause there's something more to see. I can see the wires straight up to me, blowing on the sails of my heart. Yeah, something tells me try not to come my way. Ooh, deep inside it's always incredible.
All right, just hopping in here, chat a little bit. More Jello, take care. Thanks for stopping by. I know it's buffering a bunch. Not sure what the deal is. Every so often it does this, but bear with me. Cosmic Surfer, great to see you chatting here like old times. Nice to hear about all the cats. I was enjoying my neighbor's cats earlier today, just such cuties. Some cats really just look at you and they can see right into your soul. I love it. My neighbor calls them familiars. I like that. Yeah, hopefully the connection will adjust right here. Got a beautiful shot of the Earth shine. Got the settings way up so we can see the upper side of the moon. It's not super crisp, but it's still great. At the very top, you can see Mare Crisium and Sea of Tranquility, Sea of Serenity, Mare Fecunditatis, right down the middle. It's beautiful. Yeah, cause living in Florida has been a blessing. I think the biggest part of it is just being by the water and just beautiful weather all the time. Even now when it's cold, it's just wonderful, and that's just great on the psyche, on the mind, especially for somebody like me who lived through many a cold winter. It's just such a calming frequency. Then, of course, not everybody agrees with the way the politicians run Florida, but I gotta say, that's one of the better places to be living right now in America. I'm not going to comment on whether the politicians are right or wrong. It's just a particular time and epoch to live through on Earth. And for me, just having access to the water, sunshine, astronomy, and now good health care for my mom is just a blessing. Yeah, I love the green halo as well. It's interesting. It's definitely a combination effect of the front mirror of the telescope and the camera, but yeah, it's great. Yeah, I do miss New York City, but even years ago when I left there, it had gotten a little too invasive. Just all the helicopters, low-flying helicopters and sirens and brutal winters, and the cost, you could never really save money. And so New York, while deep in my heart, and I remember every restaurant, every street, yeah, living in Florida, just not really thinking about going out very often, and just different type of life, just getting older. It's one of those places that I feel like I could probably live the rest of my life in Florida, even though, you know, politically, who the F knows about anything anymore. Yeah, let me know if the buffering is getting better. I still have the error, but it looks like, damn, I keep smashing into this. Seems like I'm uploading at a pretty decent res. So yeah, that's how it goes. Sleepy stream tonight, 2:47 a.m. on a Friday night, Saturday morning. Edge of space. For me, this is still the ultimate art. You know, obviously, I love music so much, but it goes hand in hand with observing the moon and Jupiter and Saturn and space, and being one with our skies. For me, still paramount experience in this life, whatever it may be, whatever the conspiracy or concept or full understanding, doesn't really change the fact that doing this is still pretty damn cool. Especially writing music and songs about the moon. Just love that. Play some Electric Blood over here.
I've been waiting on the street for days. Don't treat me like a fool. I've been sleeping on the streets for days. Don't treat me so cruel. I've been waiting on the porch for days. Don't treat me like you're cool. I've been waiting on the sea for years. I've been waiting for the secret all along. And you know what brings it? Don't you know what soul can sing? Singing about this dream so long for you. I've been dreaming about the song. So long for you. I've been singing about the song. So long for you. I've been dreaming about the one with you. I've been singing about this dream. So long for you. Till I see the color of your eyes reflected in the signature I made for you. Oh no. And you know what brings it. And you know what soul can sing to. And you know what brings it. And you know what soul can. We got it all. So what brings it out. And you know what soul can sing to. And you know what brings it out. And you know what soul can.
Oh yeah, Electric Blood. So I kind of shifted the image again. I realize actually the moon is starting to move above my windowsill. So I'm going to just get us back to our normal shot. It is a great question as to what frequency of light is coming through, kind of radiating green. To me, like I said, I think the green is due to the fact that there are different elements in the lenses. It's not really the sky, I don't imagine, is glowing green, but the other green that I know is when you use an oxygen 3 filter, you end up seeing things kind of tinted green. So I imagine it might be a certain wavelength akin to that. But off the top of my head right now, I don't know exactly, but it's a great question. And it does remind me of the Aurora Borealis. It's so beautiful. Cosmic says, you've been at it for a good few years. When did we meet online? 7 years ago? I think a little bit less than that. I'm trying to remember. I feel like I bought all the gear for the 2015 blood moon. You know, there was a triple blood moon that year, or there's going to be like the end of the world on September 24th, 2015. So I feel like that's around the time. I think I started a little bit before that, like learning about it, but I didn't really start streaming until like September, October of 2015. And then the first like really big video was in early 2016. So yeah, it's coming on around 5 years now. But yeah, like over 600-700 shows we've done together. So I really appreciate the Space family. You guys have been such a good support, and I never thought it really had to get any bigger than 20 to 40 people, because it's a very complex topic and it's a very esoteric subject matter. It's not for everybody. especially kind of entertaining all sorts of different ideas and conspiracies without judgment of others and just respecting each other. So yeah, coming up on it. And I think I'm going to keep going, of course, as frequently as I can, but I am keen on eventually hitting my larger goal, which is trying to get, a bigger scope, a backyard with a dome, so I can actually set up maybe a 14 or 16 or 17-inch telescope. Costs a significant amount of money, but I think it'll be a worthwhile investment. And then definitely cameras are getting better all the time. Streaming software getting better, or streaming hardware and software getting better. And yeah, a few years ago, what's amazing, and I feel very proud of, is that I started streaming the stuff in 4K in 2017. And 4K streaming is just getting mainstream now, and it's still not even completely done. So I feel like I've done a good share of initial work on getting this channel kind of up and going, and discovered a lot of things in the process. But yeah, ultimate goal, slightly bigger telescope, better camera, and then stream it to y'all like old times, new songs, So I do have a vision of what the next 5 years may look like, and we'll see. Hey, thanks for all the comments about the tunes. And let's play some more tunes here. I'll play y'all a couple of the new ones. I shared them the other night, but I have some new demos for y'all. This one's called Perplex.
Endless perplexity, only one memory of your heart. Endless perfect, there's only one memory of your star. Endless perplexity, there's only one thing to do now, just dance, come on. Inside of the web of the fable mind. Oh baby, just take me. I'm setting our world on fire. Oh baby, just take me. The song is endlessly perplexed. Losing only endlessly perplexed. So much wonder goes so long that we must leave the sands of time. Sail back all days. Don't say that you let me be. But you know I've been reaching. I know I've been saying. Love back all day. Love each and every day. You must take your feedback now. Slide in your seat back. Endless perplex. Only one memory of your heart, endless perplex. Only one memory of your star, endless perplex. But there's nothing left to do now but dance, come on. Don't slow me when you sleep. No way for the ones you left. And I crawl inside you. Fly. You're my hurricane.
Keep you waiting. What's up, Mr. Skunk? Thanks for stopping by. School the Fools certainly can. That's Cadet, I believe. Yeah. Where did I put that song? A little bit longer here. I'm going to let the moon disappear. Now it's starting to hit the top of the windowsill, so not only do you have the blurriness from the cold draft, but the cold air currents, but the windowsill as well. So let's just enjoy it. I'm not going to mess with the view right now. Like I mentioned in the chat, this is probably the last moon I'm going to do of this cycle, unless tomorrow night somehow I'm up, but and it's clear. But definitely want to do some waxing crescent. Like I haven't done that in a while. So next month I'm going to set up on the back porch again and see if we can't do a few shows. For sure, the last full moon of the year will be a show. And I want to talk more about Electric Universe stuff. Like I said, the last few days I've been kind of catching up on things and considering how to approach discussing all these topics moving forward, because I feel like I've said a lot of things many times, and I don't like to repeat myself too much. But I really feel like some of these concepts are, I feel like I'm the only one saying these things. And I know that might sound arrogant, but I feel it's more important that somebody say them than if I feel weird about being arrogant, right? So the idea of consciousness outside the body, or memory layers outside the human body, biofield, connectedness of stars, electric geology of the moon, interconnectivity of the planets, so many ideas. And I'm not sure if I want to create like a whole video with slides, or if I want to just keep doing shows and talking to everybody or live about it. So we'll see. I still have a lot of motivation, but I think taking some time this year was good. Also, I've been so lucky with capturing some of the amazing events the past few years. I was looking back, seeing like the conjunction, the Saturn and Jupiter conjunction stream was absolutely outstanding. So many people showed up, got to see a once-in-a-lifetime conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter in the same picture frame. Got to see the lunar eclipse together, the solar eclipse, Mercury, Venus and the moon, countless waves, like satellites going across Jupiter and Saturn, just the craziest stuff. I feel so blessed. I'll put on Cadet right here in a second. And yeah, I'll just quickly talk about the tech for one more moment. So yeah, I feel like there are a couple of new cameras out. There's a Sony Alpha 1, which is like $6,500, and it has some absolutely insane tech on it. I feel like that's one of those slightly too expensive cameras, but I definitely feel like it might be a worthwhile investment. At the end of December, I think the Sony A7R4 is getting released, and I feel like that might be the better sweet spot. It's about $2,600 for just the body of the camera, which is all I really need to connect it to the scope. So the dream is to really get like one of these 4K, 8K cameras, be able to stream in 60 frames per second, which is still not really possible, but it's getting there. And then eventually get a backyard observatory and buy either like one of the Celestron 14-inch tubes with like a new mount. You know, like the one we're using here is the 11. The 11 is fantastic, and I'm sure the 11 in a dome in dark skies will be like exceptional. But imagine a 14-inch scope, or even like a 17-inch Dobsonian refractor. Is it refractor? I don't know. A Dobsonian kind of, what are they called? I'm forgetting the name right now. But either way, Dobsonian is a slightly different type of telescope with a box kind of base, and then you put this structure and you put this, yeah, it's too late and I'm fumbling the words, but if you look up Dobsonian telescope, you'll see. But there's a manufacturer I saw called Lunatech or something. They build like these 17, 18, 19-inch Dobsonian mirror telescopes with these custom mirrors. And if I can just imagine what that might look like if we directed it at the moon with a Sony Alpha, let's say. So who knows, something like a $25,000 investment would really yield some of the most incredible images imaginable. And then couple that with putting that online. I know some people have taken some shots or have done some videos, but there's a very different thing than to stream for hours and, you know, explore the moon like we've done in the past with that kind of gear. So that's kind of my dream. Let's get some Cadet playing up in here. Do I have that? Is it under C or under T? I swear iTunes gets more and more confusing every time they update it. There we go. Old school coming in. There we go.
Feel what you feel, you got to know when to speak. Better believe me, this is what you seek. Love what you know, you got to learn how not to fall. Better believe it, want to tell you all. Think what you want, but I can't listen to the news. Better believe eyes make all the rules, cooking up every son and goose, slowly tightening my noose. I think that's just what you want. Don't go listen to the
That was a little new track called Hum. Working on that one. Let's do another new one here. Yeah, it is tough to watch your parent, your last remaining parent, go through dementia and start having hallucinations and just not be their full self. And and so my mom and her sisters, who are all kind of the same age, and they're all going through similar types of things. So not just me and my siblings, but the cousins as well are all going through similar stuff, dealing with their parents. So yeah, it's a big shift to go from kind of carefree to caretaker. especially for me, given that I'm kind of a rock and roller. But it feels good to be able to help as much as I can. So sending out love to all people who are dealing with that, and also all your parents who brought you here, brought us here to have this human experience. A couple more here. Great to see you, Copper Trops. It's been a while. Old OG with us. A lot of y'all, but damn, Copper, you were here early in 2015. Hope the Koi are doing well. And we're all getting up there. Let's play a song here. No, not that one. What about this one? So one's called In7. It's kind of a mess, but it's a fun one. I'm working on that. And here's another one. It's called Delicate.
Will you so finally to delicate my body? Everyone is at the ready. Don't know about it. Don't give us some love. Heavy metal outside. Just seem like not with it, the crying. And I gotta make it through this doorway. I'm gonna be a star this time. Going up, are you ready? Going up, are you ready? Flowing up, are you ready? And then I'm falling to the light, and I'm falling to the light of your love. And I thought it's simple, dark light, dry light. I gotta simplify it then, through the chorus I am standing. Oh, the sky is wide and widening. You're right, and you're right, you're right. So blind you feel, to the long you bail. I'll see the light into love. Just loving buddies. Lost team like lightning to the crime. And you get a bullet for you. Like lots of love, so we're coming up, are you ready? Growing up, are you ready? We're flowing up, are you ready? And now you're falling to the light, and I'm falling to the light of your love. And now it's so simple, dark light, dry light. I gotta simplify it then, right.
was kind of a new one. That was from a few months back, called Delicate. I tried to move the moon down a little bit so we could have a bit longer together. Rolling in on 3:30 a.m. here. I'm glad it's Friday and sleep late tomorrow. I definitely appreciate hanging out with y'all, some of my OG people. It's always a blessing, really. Every time I come back on, I realize how much I miss it. So yeah, shared some ideas tonight, shared some new tunes. I hope y'all have an excellent weekend ahead. And yeah, as I mentioned, I want to stream a bit more in December, try and get some Waxing Crescent and definitely our full moon. Be working on all these tunes, and we'll see how it goes. We keep on keeping on, you know? One more track here, take us out. And yeah, let me know if you have any final thoughts. Like, yeah, just quick one on cannabis and just trying to get her alternative medicine. So my mom was already kind of a pharma junkie anyway. And so now that she's actually really sick, they've got hooks in her, and she's on a very strict regimen of certain types of drugs. I'm not going to go too deep into it right now, but stuff that she can't shake or change, and it's gotten too far gone at this point. Nothing I really recommend or try will really be taken seriously, and I can't really get her to do anything else. It's not futile, but I guess this is where it's gotten to. I won't give up on my mom, but I think right now she just needs care. And you know, when people get to that point in their life, that's it. They've just had that full life, and you just got to be as kind and as understanding and patient as possible. So that's what I'm working on. Yeah. Yeah, big pharma. I'm sure it's not, my mom is not the only one. Definitely not the only one. Especially since I go visit her in a home where I see a lot of other people suffering. And yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy. Guess we gotta just enjoy what we have every moment. Make sure that you don't end up in one of those places with a ton of regret. And that's all we can do. That's all we can do, right? I wish I could give her some ayahuasca. Renegade sea in there. Cool, y'all. Well, this is your captain signing out. Another session, another ride through space. Great to see everybody and hear all your stories, and take care of your loved ones. Yeah, it's like that long goodbye every time I try and get off stream. I'm actually scrolling here trying to figure out which song to take us out on. Maybe something from Captain, but something chill, like, I don't know. Second here to figure it out. Let's do this fun one. We'll do Syncopated Television. I know this is one of some of y'all's favorite song. I like this one too, and it's a good note to end on. I'll see y'all really soon. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great night. Much love to y'all. Cool chicks, they're my secret,
cut,